brother was 29 years old when he suddenly lost the vision in one eye. It took 6 months, emergency room visits, and multiple doctors to figure out that he had multiple sclerosis, and it's hard to say. We're going to call it MS now. About a year and a half later, I rolled over in bed one morning, and everything I knew about my life changed. I couldn't see, lift my head, or get out of bed by myself. There's nothing scarier than just completely not knowing what to do, where to turn, how to react even at that particular moment. People who have diseases that come on suddenly, or conditions that come on suddenly, are very often ill-prepared to deal with it. What I find about many of the people that we work with at the Neurobalance Center is that they were diagnosed when they were young adults. And they, at the time, like all other people in their 20s, let's say, think they're invincible. That kind of stuff doesn't happen. You're puffed up with the idea that you can accomplish anything, that the world is at your feet, and that if you work hard enough and try hard enough, you can achieve anything you want. We're finishing school, building careers, and raising families. And one day, everything changes. I read a book recently by Sheryl Sandberg called Option B. She suffered an intense, sudden loss in her life. You have no idea what to do next. And that's when you learn that resilience, according to Sheryl, is a muscle that you have to build. When we're young people, we haven't had a chance to build that resilience muscle. So we're completely unprepared in a way that we might not be if we had been a little bit older and all of our peers weren't happy-go-lucky and running out there going after their dreams. And I think the most important thing I experienced then was a complete isolation. I had nothing to compare it to. I had nothing around me that looked like what happened to me, and I could imitate to try to move on or move up or move over. What I live with now is the fact that I will never know if tomorrow is the next time that's going to happen to me. I recovered after about 6 months. I got back about 80% of what I had lost that day. And I'm one of the really, really lucky ones. I have an amazing family who jumped into action and helped me with everything from driving my children where they needed to go, fixing my food, being there when my kids woke up in the morning and pretending it's just 'cause, you know, because I wasn't ready to tell my children. I was very lucky. But I also experienced the response of people in my neighborhood and my community and my workplace. And that wasn't jump in and help. That was, how long till you're back at work? And, well, I don't want to disturb her, so I'm not going to ring the bell or call her. And I don't want her to feel badly like she can't come with when we're doing this, so I don't invite her. Isolation is our biggest enemy. And it's the thing that I'm hoping I can get you to change. Because I think we as a community can do better. Having said that, I think that we, the disabled population that I joined in 2001, can also do better. So first we're going to change a really ensconced tradition that we all have. Our parents taught us that when someone appears different, you don't stare. And so we avert our eyes when somebody looks different. We don't want to stare. We want to be polite. We don't want to embarrass them. We don't want to make them feel different, so we don't look. Because of that, the disabled person also doesn't look, doesn't make eye contact with you. They don't want to stick out in a crowd. They don't want to be the elephant in the room. And they were taught by their parents, don't stare, don't look. So we are helping the people around us not feel embarrassed by not establishing eye contact with them. And there goes the circle. No eye contact, no eye contact, no eye contact. So we're not learning about the disabled people in our community, and they're not learning that it's okay that they look different and that they can ask for help. If you use census data, about 20% of the population is disabled. I'm curious, when you look around the room, how many people you see in this room that you think are disabled. That's 20 people in this room. For most of us, including me, today, right now, aside from the fact that I'm sitting in a chair when no one else is when they do these talks, you wouldn't know I was disabled. It's great most of the time that I'm not wearing a neon sign. But in addition, nobody cuts me any slack. In addition, nobody knows what to say, so they don't ask me about my story. And I'm left out. So in 2001, I was diagnosed. In 2003, I approached the yoga studio owner in Barrington, and I asked if she'd be willing to let me offer an adaptive fitness class for people with MS. And she said, sure. So my dad made up the name Fit MS. My aunt drew us a logo. I made a little poster, and I posted it on the bulletin board in a little yoga studio up 25 stairs with one handicap space on the street and no parking lot nearby. I put up the sign, naively not realizing that I picked the wrong place, and 5 people showed up the first day. And none of those 5 people were members at that yoga studio, but 5 people came. That means that you all know someone who's disabled. They may not be here today, you may not have seen them in a while, but everybody knows somebody who could benefit from being asked to tell their story, who could benefit from you establishing eye contact, knocking on the door, and making that phone call. You have to face that uncomfortable moment because everybody wins in the end. Everybody wins. Every night, I wonder what tomorrow brings. And the next day, I get to go up and do the best job in the whole world. I picked my job. I picked who I wanted to work with. I picked who I wanted to work for. And I dragged them all along with me while I had my dukes up and was looking under every rock to find some way that I could live better after I left the doctor's office, and I'm taking my medicine. Now what? What do we do next? You don't see the disabled people because they are not there about town. They're not eating in our local restaurants. They're not shopping in our local stores. Part of that we can change, but part of it is that we have these gorgeous old buildings in Barrington, and there are 2 cement steps to get in the front door, or the bathrooms are in the basement, or there's 1 handicap space in front. or there's no parking lot for blocks. Our energy is precious when we're disabled. We might work twice as hard to do that same thing that you take for granted. So when it saps too much of our precious energy to go to a place that's not very convenient, we don't go. And we say no when you invite us. We don't really want to explain why we're saying no. We don't want you to feel bad and pick a different restaurant or a different venue. So we stay quiet. So this is our fault too. This is everybody's fault. So I run a nonprofit. We serve about 750 people. It started as that Fit MS class. And then we moved 7 times in 14 years. And every time we move, we try to do better. We didn't have enough parking there, so then we moved to a place that had a parking lot. Yeah, but not a great parking lot. But I don't learn without stumbling. We all learn by stumbling along and each time trying to pick a new location that would work for us. So our last move, we went and looked at every place we could possibly rent. We wanted to double our space. We need more space. And we looked high and low, and it was not an easy look. But we found a place that we thought, first of all, had a big enough parking lot right outside the door. They were going to let us put automatic openers on. They were going to widen the door to the bathroom. The vacancy was on the first floor. Our life was good. And we could afford the rent. And so we went to an architect. We got everything planned out. We're about to sign the contract, and the phone rings. And they say, the tenants in the building are not comfortable with having you in the building. The commotion doesn't fit with what we do. So the commotion, by the way, is the wheelchairs, walkers, and canes. The commotion is that it may take us a little longer to get from our car to the neurobalanced space in the building. The commotion is that they'd have to remodel a bathroom. The commotion is that the choice parking spaces right in front of the door were going to be changed to handicap spaces. So there were fewer of them then, and their favorite place to park was going to be gone. Interestingly, I think sometimes discrimination, because that's what we're talking about here, sometimes it's deliberate, but more often it's inadvertent. It's because we don't realize that what we're saying hurts, or we don't realize that discrimination needs to include people who are disabled. And it's not just about the color you are or the sex that you are. It's how abled you are. And some people would say that we're all only temporarily abled. We're born completely dependent. And most of us leave this world completely dependent as well. But in the middle, we don't realize that everybody around us has a different level of ability. We're differently able, every single one of us. So the 700 people who come to the center come because it's a safe place. They come because they want to be able to do something about their condition. And you can't control that you have MS or Parkinson's or stroke or neuropathy or ALS. But you can control what you do about it, how you react to it, how you react to others, how you can educate others to react to you and to treat you. And so we come to this place where there's transportation with a lift that can get you there, where there's every space in the first row is a handicap space, 6 handicap bathrooms, lowered counters, everything we could possibly think of, no thresholds between different types of flooring. And we come there because we don't want to be the elephant in the room. And there you're in a room of elephants. Everybody's the same. Everybody's the same amount challenged. Everybody's got something they can't do, and they're accepted there. And so it's a place that we belong, and it's a place for us to build our resilience muscle. Because in option B, they also talk about collective resilience. Collective resilience is about surrounding yourself with other people who have been through the stage that you're going through and are willing to hang on to you while you feel you can't do it and help you learn how to do it, how to be resilient, how to keep going, how to push the limits, how to find other people like you. I can't even begin to tell you what the smiles look like as they came through the door the first time and realized that they found a home. Everyone wants to volunteer. Everyone wants to work the front desk. Everyone wants to tell other people. People who are walking from the other buildings just to see what it is we're doing in there. I encourage you not to avert your eyes, not to avoid staring, but instead ask a question. Ask for us to tell our stories. Ask for us to help you when you plan things, when you plan renovations, when you pick a venue to have a party. Make sure everybody can come to the table, because we all want to. Thanks for having me.